Welcome, partners, to Cowboy Classics with Scott Paladin. In this episode, Godfather Death. A poor man had 12 children and had to work day and night in order just to feed them. Thus, when the 13th came into the world, not knowing what to do with his need, he ran out into the highway, intending to ask the first person whom he met to be the Godfather. The first person that came his way was our dear God, who already knew what was in his heart. And God said to him, "Poor man, I pity you. I would hold your child at his baptism and care for him and make him happy on earth." And the man said, "Who are you?" "I am God." "Then I do not wish to have you for a godfather," said the man. "You give to the rich and let the poor starve." Thus spoke the man, for he did not know how wisely God divides out wealth and poverty. Then he turned away from the Lord and he went on his way. Then the devil came to him and said, "What are you looking for? If you will take me as your child's godfather, I will give him abundance of gold and all the joys of the world as well." And the man asked, "Who are you?" "I am the devil." "Then I do not wish to have you for a godfather," said the man. "You deceive mankind and led him astray." He went on his way, and then Death on his withered legs came walking towards him and said, "Take me as your child's godfather." And the man asked, "Who are you?" "I am Death, who makes everyone equal." And the man said, "You are the right one. You take away the rich as well as the poor without distinction. You shall be my child's godfather." And Death answered, "I will make your child rich and famous, for he who has me as a friend cannot fail." And the man said, "Next Sunday is the baptism. Be there on time." Death appeared as he had promised, and served as godfather in an orderly manner. After the boy came of age, his godfather appeared to him one day and asked him to go with him. He took him out into the woods and showed him an herb that grew there, saying, "Now you shall receive your godfather's present. I will turn you into a famous physician. Whenever you are called to a sick person, I will appear to you. If I stand at the sick person's head, you may say with confidence that you can make him well again. If you give him some of this herb, he will recover. But if I stand at the sick person's feet, he is mine. And you must say that he is beyond help and that no physician in the world could save him. But beware of using the herb against my will, or something very bad will happen to you." It was not long before the young man had become the most famous physician in the world. People said of him, he only needs to look at the sick in order to immediately know their condition, whether they will regain their health or are doomed to die. And people came to him from far and wide, taking him there sick, and giving him so much money that he soon became a wealthy man. Now it came to pass the king became ill. The physician was summoned and was told to say if the recovery was possible. However, when he approached the bed, Death was standing at the sick man's feet, and so no herb on earth would be able to help him. "If only I could deceive Death for once," thought the physician. "He will be angry, of course, but because I am his godson, he will shut one eye. I will risk it." And therefore took hold of the sick man and lay him the other way round, so that Death was now standing at his head. Then he gave the king some of the herb, and he recovered and became healthy again. However, Death came to the physician, made a dark and angry face, threatened him with his finger, and said, "You have betrayed me. I will overlook it this time because you are my godson, but if you dare do it again, it will cost you your neck, for I will take you yourself away with me." Soon afterward, the king's daughter became seriously ill. She was his only child, and he cried day and night until his eyes were going blind. Then he proclaimed that whosoever rescued her from death would become her husband and inherit the crown. When the physician came to the sick girl's bed, he saw Death at her feet. He should have remembered the godfather's warning, but he was so infatuated by the princess's great beauty and the prospect of becoming her husband that he threw all thought to the wind. He did not see that Death was looking at him angrily, lifting his hand in the air and threatening with him with his withered fist. He lifted up the sick girl and placed at her head where her feet had been. Then he gave her some of the herb, and her cheeks immediately turned red. Life stirred in her once again. Death, seeing that he had been cheated out of his property a second time, approached the physician with long strides and said, "You are finished. Now it is your turn." Then Death seized him so firmly with his ice-cold hand that he could not resist and led him to an underground cavern. There the physicians saw how thousands and thousands of candles were burning in endless rows, some large, others medium-sized, others small. Every instant some died out, and others were relit, so that the little flames seemed to be jumping about in constant change. "See," said Death, "these are the lifelights of mankind. The large ones belong to children, the medium ones to married people in their best years, and the little ones to old people. However, even children and young people often only have a tiny candle." "Show me my lifelight," said the physician, thinking that it would be very large. Death pointed to a little stump that was just threatening to go out and said, "See, there it is." "Oh, dear Godfather," said the horrified physician, "light a new one for me. Do it as a favor to me so that I can enjoy my life and become king and the husband of the beautiful princess." "I cannot," answered Death. "One must go out before a new one is lighted." "Then set the old one on a new one that will go on burning after the old one is finished," begged the physician. Death pretended that he was going to fulfill his wish and took hold of a large new candle, but, desiring revenge, he purposely made a mistake in relighting it, and the little piece fell down and went out, and the physician immediately fell to the ground, and he too was now in the hands of Death. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Cowboy Classics with Scott Paladin. Our work tonight was the traditional fairy tale Godfather Death. Produced, edited, and read by Scott Paladin. Audio copyright 2021 Scott Paladin.